Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. We are today flying with Icelandair and we're going to be flying the PMDG 737-900ER version or variant. And I don't think Icelandair, or at least to my knowledge, Icelandair never flew with this variant. I guess they could have wet leased it or similar at some point, but I think they've only had the Max 8 and the Max 9. And then the 800, they had that a little while there when the Maxes were grounded. But I thought it would be fun to fly something that I don't usually fly, which is this variant. As it is, I mean, it's not that different from the 800, right? But it's a bit longer, can fly a bit more extended ops. We're not going to utilize that though today. We're just going to do a very short hop. And let's see, actually from where we're flying from Keflavik, but that's the Reykjavik airport, and we're flying up to Akurey. Probably butchered that pronunciation, but it's an airport at the northern part of the island. And I don't know why I actually thought it would be a good idea to fly, but or to fly this sort of a short route, but I think the idea came from I was watching this series called Katla or something like that at Netflix. I think they have it. I only watched like one episode or something like that, but it just got me feeling like, yeah, I do want to do a flight in Iceland. So we are gonna do this short hop, and we have some. Well, we only have a Neo actually here. Seems to be some aircrafts that are statics. I've never actually been at this airport myself, but it does look very nicely implemented. You even have the inside of it with this kind of nice wood floor, etc. I'm thinking it's probably pretty true to life, but I can't judge. It's the MK Studios variant. It's also them who has the airport that we're going to, BIAR. And it's part of the same package basically, the Akureyri airport, but it's a bit simplified, so it might not be as in-depth, but should be good enough at least, one can hope. And actually I just realized I haven't really downloaded the airport charts. Let me see, PMDG 7, no, we don't want the PMDG, we want the BIAR charts. Do we have something? We have the... God damn it, I was only able to find one approach. Here we have a PDF which seems to have all of it. Happy days. Let's save that. Let's see if we can get it into the PMDG EFB before it's too late. Or maybe you can refresh it actually. Let's have a look. So PMDG, they have their EFB database, documents library, I'm going to presume. Then you have the common one. So I think it's that one. So we're going to put the charts into that. And then we're going to jump into the plane. As you can see, the lovely cockpit of the PMDG. Very nice. We also have volumetric clouds, as you can see, so they add a pretty nice layer here from the bottom, even though it looks a bit maybe light towards the, but maybe it's not a complete overcast. But let's see how long I'll run with this setup. Okay, let's see, we gotta wait for the ground power. It always bugs out a bit for me for some reason. It's a bit strange, but there we go. And we have our hardware FMC, so that's pretty neat. I don't think this one, the D-Link one, actually works, right? The A cars. I guess there was a plan to implement it at some point, but they left that, when they went full on Microsoft Flight Sim. Unfortunately. Okay, let's see, BIAR. Yeah, look at this. So we were lucky there. We actually got it in time. And here we can even see some more information, but I am actually wondering which one here. Charts related to the aerodrome. So can we zoom in on these? Page. Oh, sorry, when I do page up, and then we can, through these ones, we'll be able to find the right chart. And then we can zoom here. It's not the most easy EFB to use, but it's pretty good. Could be worse. Let's see, do we have any other utilities on EFB? I don't think so, right? It's not like the one from iFly, which has kind of moved the stuff to that. Okay, let's open the cargo doors. Let's also put in the right amounts, right? Payload, etc. So 0 fuel is just 143.3. Oh wait, sorry, it's in kilos. We need to fix that. So we go to PMDG setup, aircraft, equipment. We wanna keep this one, I think. I'm not a big fan of the old one. Let me see. We wanna keep the call outs. Yeah, that's fine. That's pretty cool, right? You can choose between what standby ones you want. Let's pop in all of them, because why not? There's even a yaw dampener gauge that I guess, let me hide that. Or actually it doesn't seem to make a difference if we... Do we want the HGS? I mean, technically we can keep it, doesn't make sense. Not sure it does. But who knows, let's keep it for the Icelandair one. We can choose between air stairs, we want those installed, eyebrow windows, how does that look? Okay, so that's how it would. Let's not have that cutoff switch. We have the new ones, right? But we can have the old ones as well. So let's keep the new ones. And okay, so that wasn't, maybe it's displays, right? We just want to find the info for the... Actually, I don't think it's aircraft options in terms of simulation, right? Let's see. Yeah, we can hide the yokes, etc. But the one I am interested in is the... is the kilo to pounds. There must be somewhere where you can make that change. Of course, it's the one you always wanna find. That's the one you have the hardest to find. Maybe it is this place. Oh, sorry about that. So it's not on equipment and displays. Options maybe, color, sound, performance, no. It must be simulation then, right? Let me see, PMDG P3D change to pounds. Let me see what they say. System page application preferences would be that one. Okay. Now let's see if this works on the PMD, sorry, the FS actions one. Now this is still in those goddamn kilos. I wanted to go American. Oh, it actually displays. How have I missed it then? That's there we go. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Popping a bit back and forth here. It took me a while, but we have the pounds now set. Just because I usually use that. I mean, it's nothing wrong with using kilos. But I'm just used to using pounds on these planes. So 143.3 for the zero fuel one. And then the fuel weight is gonna come in at 12.5. Let me see, 12. There we go. Okay. Only took a bit of time. Let me see, ground operations. Pushback, that's on GSX, right? Can you change it? None other. Let's just keep as I don't want to change anything because it's been working for my other planes. Let's hide that. We should actually align these first. So we get the align one, go nav, we can go on that. And what else? What else do we need to do? Yeah, lights. Steady. Collision we can do later. Wheel well, I guess technically we can put that on. Makes sense, right? I'll put these fuel pumps because we're gonna move those. I can check that this one works. Seems to work. There we get the alarms. Different light things. Yeah, seems to work. Yeah, looks good. And I guess we have maintenance-based failures, so technically there could be, you know, something going wrong. But let's see. Let's hope we can avoid that. Position in it. Usually a good place to start. Let's have a look on the outside. We should probably start the boarding by now. We have a lot of passengers, 187. I doubt though we'll have to take that many. Or I'm gonna make it a bit smaller, the amount, just so we don't have to wait for the passengers. I do not appreciate when that happens. I'm too slow myself, right? Let's do 102. Boarding music. We should have everything in Icelandair if I'm not mistaken. Potentially not the boarding, right? That's something that not everyone have. So let's do something generic. But I do hope we have the safety at least in the Icelandair or the Icelandair one. No. That's odd. I was 100% certain. Maybe we can download it then. I have to take a quick look. How can I not have that? This is one of I was certain I had it. But nope. That's annoying. That's Icelandair. Has any boarding music. Oh, they have a playlist, so nowadays you can even find the Icelandair on their playlist. That's cool. Let me just pause quickly this video and I'll fix that. And we're back. Okay, so I was able to actually find both the boarding and the safety one. The boarding is just the first one from their playlist that they have, but I thought that will suffice for immersion purposes. Even though I guess flying the wrong aircraft itself might not be the best for immersion. Okay, let's do also can we, let's see, we'll do 100 packs. Let's see, it's a bit slow GSX now. I think I might have delayed it a bit. Let me reset my position and try again. Okay, let's see. We don't need that. We have the jetways. We can request boarding. Handling by Icelandair. God, hard to remember to call it Icelandair, not Icelandair. Okay, let's see. Boarding has been requested. Good, good, good. So maybe it is starting. Now let's see if the people will walk. No need to attach the pushback tag. We don't need crew. And how many passengers are you boarding? That's the $1,000,000 question. It's actually a very nice airport by MK Studios, this Keflavik one. I really like also the Helsinki one. I mean, generally they do kind of very well. I like them more than Justin because they feel a bit more alive, their airports, because you can see some cars, etc., some buses. The only thing I don't like about Keflavik is it's this weird, what would you call it, this weird mesh issue, which I haven't been able to figure out yet, but I hope to do at some point. Why are we getting that one? Are we on the wrong frequency or what's going on? We can close that window. Okay. Let me see. Oh yeah, that's for the HGS, right? I was like, what is that? I haven't seen that before. But oh well, oh well. So, getting ready to fly. What gate are we at? I mean, we don't technically need to populate this information. I'm not even sure why I'm doing it. It didn't even give the info here. BIAR, and the flight number is 922. We're taking off from runway 10. In terms of the flight itself, actually, let's have a look a bit at the weather report. So there is some moderate icing at 20,000 feet, so we need to take that into account. We should have a bit of a, what's this? This is like 30 knots, right? But actually we need to go up to 20. Okay, we don't have for 21. But let's say around 32 knots tailwind, so that's pretty nice. Here we have, let's see, Keflavik, it's looking pretty good. Overcast, overcast. Oh, is the weather deteriorating that badly? That's no good. Let's okay, let's keep that in mind. I'm actually gonna move this one down. Well, how's it looking at our destination? Few at 05. I think we should be fine, right? Okay, but deteriorating weather at Keflavik. So let's keep that in mind. With the well, the wind is quite the same. But good. Let's continue planning our route then, shall we? We can do pilot to ADC at the same time. So I'll show you pilot to ADC. Here you can see we're coming into runway 19. I think that should be an ILS. But there isn't actually. So the question is, which approach do we want to do? There is an ILS, but it's from the other direction, it seems. Let's go page down, page down. So we're not doing one, we're doing the other runway, runway 19. Okay, let's see. One. Here we go. So we can do the RNAV. What other ones do we have? NDB. ASR. God, I'm too rookie. Let's just do the RNAV one. This is from 2012, so it's a bit old. Not sure it's gonna actually reflect. But I'm gonna have a look. So if we're doing the RNAV X, then we'll come in from the right. Which makes sense because we want to come in from Aki. I'm gonna show you how it looks. So we're coming in from Aki, so we'll just continue on that. So let's activate the approach. We should hopefully see some of these glaciers, so that'll be pretty cool. Not sure where the volcanoes are located, but I guess we might see one or two. We can validate. I'm just gonna change quickly back to Boeing, and then this one is the Icelandair. We want the Icelandair. Let's see, Air Iceland, Icelandair, Ice Air. Okay, that's an interesting one. And we don't want to be heavy. We want to be non-heavy. Let's file the flight plan. And let's connect to the sim. And while we wait, we can do the rest of the route on our. Let's wait with listening to the 80s. I just want to make sure we get the right one, and then it's a direct to Pexil. Okay, there we go. Pexel. It's a bit hard to get it to right sometimes, actually. And we're flying the RNAV X to 19 with the PEX 1N with the Aki transition. This should give us a route without discontinuities, which it looks to have, so that's good. We can execute that route. Then we can go to this one, put in our data, and our weights. So the zero fuel one, and the reserves are 2, 4. Actually, let's do it like this. 2, 5. Cost index is at 48. Cruising 204, which makes sense. This is aligned with what we're seeing already at 24. Yeah, maybe this looks reasonable. And then we can go to the N1 limits, and all of this we need from our performance. And let's have a look quickly at what the info is. So they're still boarding. Let's do a check. Okay, 6 minutes, that's pretty fine. We can arm those. Oh, I guess we don't have no smoking, so should be fine. Cabin utilities. I guess we would want to keep on these window heats. And I guess once we have the APU, we can put those on low pressure, that's fine. And I guess the flight recorder stays off until you put it on, right? Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the EFB. We can always get back to that at a later stage. So, BIKF, runway 11. Okay, maybe it's changed. Conditions, looks to be dry. Let's listen to the 80s.
18 knots, visibility unrestricted, 1,400 scattered, 7,400 overcast, temperature 8, dew point 6, current QNH is 1022, arriving and departing runway 10.
022. And what was wind?
Athletic Airport information Papa, 230 local winds are 132 at 18 knots, visibility unrestricted,
At 18 knots, all this sounds reasonable.
7,400 overcast.
Nothing strange. We can do flaps 5, we can have air condition on, anti-ice off for now. We need to remember to put that on once we get higher towards our cruising altitude. Takeoff weight is gonna be 155300. The CG, I think we get that from here. 26.2. Let's calculate. Good. Select the temp 50. Let's see what the suggestion was from the flight plan. Was it also 50? 52. But quite aligned, generally speaking, so that's nice to see. We want to do a bit of a derated one. Takeoff, flaps 5, 26.2 in the CG. In terms of the runway wind, what was it? 132 at 18. We don't have a slope in P3D. Temperature looks correct. Oh, I pressed the wrong one. Let me have a look. 144, 149, and 155. Can we put in the right takeoff weight? Doesn't really matter. Okay. We can execute on the performance page as well. Put on the flight directors. And we are basically ready to go. Let's start though. I think we are connected to the ground power, right? Yeah, looks like it. But we want to get the APU running. So let's see if we can get that up and about. Let's remember to close this lower screen as well. I always kept it on because I thought you wanted all the info, but apparently you want to keep it closed because it will pop on if something goes wrong. So that's, you know, something new I learned. Mentor Pilot, which does have some good videos from time to time. Especially the air crash ones are really good. The Mentor Now site is a bit filled with more fluff nowadays, unfortunately. Wish they could do more in-depth, maybe historical videos rather than what's new. Oh, and let's move this one. I was trying to find Icelandair, some of the classic, but there wasn't any liveries for the Captain Sim ones. That was a bit unfortunate. Is there actually Iceland Explain 12? Would be cool if there was, like, because that could be a pretty nice photo reel to have for Explain. But let's see. So, where are we at? We have done our most of the pre-flight preps. We're putting on the APU. Oh yeah, pilot to ADC is what we'll need. So let's get that on.
We are ready to go when you are.
Yeah, but I ain't ready yet. Icelandair 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance.
Icelandair 4003 is clear to Bravo.
Let's start closing the door. I don't think there's any point having those
Expect departure
open.
Climb to flight level 180 via the departure. Expect higher clearance.
180. We're not gonna be getting too many higher clearances than that.
Squawk 4645.
Icelandair 4003 is cleared to Bravo India Alpha Romeo climb via the loop to Bravo departure.
Or actually, we'll need to redo this one.
180 via the departure. Expect higher clearance is 5 minutes.
Why was it giving us the wrong?
Final approach on 119.15. Squawk 4645.
Let me actually reconnect to the sim. Seems to have given us the wrong cruising altitude. That's why we got such a high clearance. It might not have been why, but that's what threw me off. Okay, let me switch again. Icelandair 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance.
Icelandair 4003, we don't have a flight plan on file for you. File your flight plan and get back to us for clearance or request flight following with the destination airport.
Okay, let's see. Icelandair 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance.
Icelandair 4003 is
yeah, exactly, we got a lower one. 15,000. Knew something was off. Anti-collision, let's put those on. Let's put the APU. Seatbelt signs. That's open.
Icelandair 4003 is cleared to Bravo.
We're doing
Alpha
21,000.
via the loop to Bravo departure.
What's gonna be the
level 150 via the departure. Expect higher clearance is 5 minutes after departure. Keflavik final approach
very low.
119.15. Squawk 4352.
Yeah, let's keep 0. Squawk 4352. Okay, let's put that in. 435.
QNH is
2. Let's put that on so we don't forget. So look on the outside, looking good. We can probably disconnect though the ground power. So let's release that. And remove the chokes. We want to keep parking brake in. Prepare for pushback and departure. Icelandair 4003, ready for pushback. Ah, god
Icelandair
damn it. Got it wrong.
4003 engine start
Let's
approved.
put this right as well.
Engine start approved. Icelandair 4003.
Icelandair 4003 ready for pushback. Okay, now we got it.
Icelandair 4003 pushback approved.
Pushback approved. Icelandair 4003.
And we are gonna get that pushback now. I guess we don't need the wheel well on. Might just blind the guy. Anything else that we need to set? We have altimeters, etc. This is prepped. TFC, we can put that. Weather radar we'll have to do. We're taking off from runway 10, so it's quite a close taxi. We're gonna be pushed back to the left. Let's auto dock the jetway as well, so we don't forget that. And we'll soon take off with this beautiful 737-900ER. It's a very beautiful livery on it. Big fan. God, there's not many aircrafts up here. Nose left, tail right. Parking brakes released. We'll start at will. Okay, let's see if we're being pushed back. We'll start with the second engine. Make sure we get the right values. So far, so good. Increasing over 10, 15. Push up the fuel control. I wonder what the taxi one will be. And look at that. We have the Icelandair safety. So the pushback. Yeah, look at this. I mean, they could, if they would have just worked a bit more with the volumetric one and tried to build it so you could have weather fronts, etc. This would have been really cool. I don't even think P3 version 6 has that. The problem was that they went with the true sky. Should probably develop something internally. Okay. The right engine is rolling nicely. We'll start the left one. We're above 15, so we can put that. Okay, let's say we put left, but it feels like we are being... But I guess this is technically the best. Yeah, because we would have been pushed towards the other. And yeah, let's set parking brake. Yeah, we can conform good engine start. We don't need any motoring engines, right? Let's do a rejected takeoff. Let's actually jump back to performance. Trim 4.9. Flap 5. So almost 5 in trim. Let's see if we have any good viewpoints with this one. I'm gonna guess we have too many viewpoints within the... Yeah, we don't need that many, or at least I rarely do. For example, a separate one for EFB. I mean, it's cool to have, but it's really unnecessary to have. We can keep this one. This one we could move. Put it as a GoPro one. Kind of like that usually. Something like this is pretty nice to have. Of course I should change the name to be honest. Okay. Maybe we can have a one at the back as well. And now we should have some nice positions. I wish though the camera system was more like an X-Plane. I really started appreciating the X-Plane one once I've learned more. I really didn't like it before when you didn't know it, because it felt very constrained. But once you start fiddling with it and you really get it, it's amazing. Okay, let's get those down. Torpedoes, I guess auto is the same. Taxi lights. We can shut off the APU. That's good. We can go to flaps 5. Icelandair 4003, ready to taxi. Let's see if we get the taxi clearance. And that we do.
Icelandair 4003, runway 10.
Let's release the
Taxi
brake.
via November 13,
Press the chrono.
November 4, Charlie 3, Kilo 3.
We're not
Kilo
taxiing
4,
on our own.
Hold short runway 10.
We should actually have calculated our landing stuff as well, just to make sure we don't end up in trouble.
Ready to go.
Let's zoom in with this one, the weather radar. You can keep the other one on terrain, just to make sure that we have both options. Okay, let's try to taxi nicely here by following the yellow line somewhat. Whoop. Yeah, it's a very nice livery, this one. Should hopefully be a pretty nice weather, but let's see. Let's change viewpoint as well. That gets me a bit dizzy. Do we have any nicer outside ones though? I mean, this is just some ad hoc one. I really need to set my own viewpoints, and so that I remove, so I don't have to see that ugliness. You know, when you jump between the different, because now it jumps pretty nicely, right? From the inside to the outside. But the problem is when you are jumping between the different views on the outside, then it will look awful, right? Because you'll see the inside of the airplane, which isn't very nice. And you don't want to see it cut off like that, right? You want it to be like X-Plane, where it resets the view, kind of, after each. But yeah, the problem isn't doing that. You know, you can do it for one aircraft at a time, but the problem is that, you know, you have different variants, then you forget to do it for one, so you become lazy, right? This is one thing I don't like about the volumetric. Look at this little things here. For some reason, it just can't really work around objects. It looks a bit off, which does take away a bit of the niceness with it, right? That it's you know, it works kind of well lightning wise. You know, it feels like there's some light, but it's kind of dark at the same time. Okay, let's keep this view. Okay, and we'll just taxi to the end. I really don't like flying with this heads-up display, but let's give it a try. Can't hurt. We can see the airport map here, but that's... Oh, let's try to not drive outbounds of the airport taxiway. Let's try to stay inbound, or whatever you want to call it, within the constraints of the taxiway. Okay, let's brake a bit.
Iceair 400
And now we're getting the handover.
Keflavik Tower on 118.3.
Tower on 118.3 Iceair 4003.
Iceair 4003, ready for takeoff. Let's do the landing ones and change that one to position. Strobe and steady. Not sure why that one moved. Iceair 4003, ready for takeoff. Yes, there we go.
Iceair 4003 winds are 142 at 22 knots.
Okay, a bit of change in the
Runway
winds, but nothing
10
too bad.
cleared for takeoff squawk 4352.
And where's the...
Runway 10 cleared for takeoff squawking 4352 Iceair 4003.
That's the takeoff one, right? Okay, left is looking clear. Looking clear around us. Hopefully we won't crash into a AI. Okay, let's line up with the runway. And brake a bit. Let's start throttling up. Looks good. Okay, toga. And we're starting to roll down the runway. Airspeed alive. Happy days. Happy days. Okay, 100 knots. Let's see if we get the V1 calls. Rotate. We just don't wanna hit the backside, right? That's one of the big issues with the 900 model. I think we were able to avoid that. I hope. Well, we'll know soon enough. Hey, and there were some other planes on the ground. Looking pretty decent now. As you can see, the mesh though moving around us. It will get better once we get higher. Let's go to flap 0. I'm gonna trim a bit down. Yeah, and look at the little wing flex. Looks pretty decent. Okay, we're still climbing, and now we're kind of
Iceair 4003 contact Keflavik
getting
approach
into the
on
clouds.
119.3.
Approach on 119.3
I'm gonna remove that since I don't even follow it anyway. We're gonna start trimming, so I feel like I need to use too much of my yoke. Pressing down.
403, good afternoon.
Okay. Climb to flight level 150. Can go lights off. Let's see if we're gonna climb high enough to get out of the clouds. I do hope so, but you never know. We can go to standard on the barometric setting. Let's trim up a bit. Can't really see anything. It's a very nice viewpoint actually, this one with the PMDG. Don't know why I haven't used it. How does this one look?
Iceair 4003, contact Reykjavik Center on 125.5.
Okay, let's trim down a bit. We're really climbing way too much. We're draining that speed.
Center Iceair 4003 climbing to flight level 150.
Iceair 4003.
Still doing this manually,
good afternoon.
apart from the thrust, which is under auto throttle control. We are between cloud layers now, as you can see. So this True Sky supports, or the volumetric cloud supports 2 cloud layers. Also one of the negative things, so once you get into like stormy season, it's much nicer to use 2D clouds, because you can then get the, it just looks much better, right? You'll see the storms, and you'll see, if you have a huge storm, you'll definitely notice that immediately. It will be really bad on the FPS though, so that's one of the reasons I always want to fly with the volumetric. It's just less draining. I could even change some of my settings, right? Put them a bit higher if I kept the volumetric. Okay, let's trim down a bit. We're coming up on 10,000, so we're gonna go off with the landing lights. And we can wait with the seatbelt signs. Not sure yet. What's the weather radar saying? Not much. It's not working totally. When you don't have the 2D clouds, then it works perfectly, right? So one other bummer with it. Okay, still looking pretty good here. We can trim a bit to maintain. We have about 38 minutes to go. Trim downwards. We can turn off the auto brake. We don't need to arm the speed brake, at least not yet. Let's trim down. Turn a bit to the left. Hopefully we'll just cross the next layer of clouds. I hope at least we cross it before it changes through a different weather, pattern, because that's also the risk, right? You don't have the fronts. Okay, let's trim a bit up, because we do want to climb.
Icelandair 4003 climb and maintain flight level 210.
Climb and maintain flight level 210 Icelandair 4003.
And let's see, and there we go. Let's actually go to autopilot. Yeah, it looks very nice. I'm actually quickly gonna have to do something, so I'll quickly pause here, but I'll be back. Well, you won't notice the pause anyway. But let's see. There we go, let's continue. That was a much longer break than I had anticipated, but we're back. Continuing our climb to... Or are we actually? No, we're descending, so we need to get that up. Let me see if we can force it up maybe with the vertical climb. And then VNAV. Okay. Looks pretty nice, a bit of overcast. Hopefully we get a bit higher up so we can get a nicer look. It's so bright though, that's my only... I need to have a look at the settings. Maybe the NVTEX can help a bit. So this is how it looks without any brightness, right? Can't see anything in the plane though. But is there some way to find like a better... Because I want to keep the brightness I have in the plane. while at the same time keeping the outside one. Let me have a look actually. Let me see. P3D lower cloud brightness. Always something I'm looking into. I can't seem to find it, unfortunately. One option would be to lower, of course, the brightness. Could of course be the time as well. So if we change the daylight, right, it could look quite different during different times of day. We're quite early morning, right? That's probably one of the reasons. So when I go cancel now, yeah, it looks much brighter. Okay, let's see. We have about 21 minutes to go. We're off on all of those. Seatbelt signs can come off. And they are off there as well. We can do a public address. And let me just check everything correctly set. How's this looking? Okay. Nothing to report in that regard. In relation to fuel, 9.2, what's the progression telling us? Ah, it's looking decent. Should have sufficient amount of fuel. Let me see, we're cruising now very nicely. Looking pretty good. Let me have a look a bit. What does Icelandair have in terms of for fleet, right? They have A321s. That's interesting. And those are supposed to replace the 757s. And then they have the Boeing 737 MAX 8 and 9. We're already getting the approach info.
Transition for the RNAV X-ray approach to runway 19er with BIAR transition Icelandair 4003.
So as you can see, we don't have too long to go. Unfortunately, with the overcast, we don't really see too much. Let me see actually, what's this change you can do? Oh. Hey, is this the one they had for, was it Southwest that used something like this? That's pretty dope. They have some cool options. In the aircraft, I'm just looking at the different equipment and displays. Let's change the outside view for a bit. At this sort of altitude, I really like the the overcast. It actually looks good. Yeah, it's not always that you get this sort of a good overcast, but it's also because we're low enough. When you go too high, you start getting that grid pattern, which looks very ugly on the 737. No, sorry, not on the 737, but generally on on all aircraft in P3D. The 737, on the other hand, is a very good-looking aircraft. I really like the cockpit and yeah, just very well made. Of course, we miss the circuit breakers. We can't do certain those things. We have failures, maintenance ones. So it's pretty dope. Here you can even see the failures on the FMC. Let me just have a look. Any other option? You can change the HDR adjustment level. I guess we want it to be less dark. Ah, we're seeing a change in the weather. It's loosening up a bit, perhaps. Now we're seeing the grid pattern, but we aren't noticing it as badly because, fortunately, we're that low enough, right, to avoid that. But we can see a bit of the ground in between. I think that's one of the glaciers. Could be wrong, of course. In terms of our descent, we haven't gotten the descent clearance, but we have gotten the transition. So let's see. We only have 100 nautical miles to go, so I'm a bit surprised that we haven't gotten further clearances to descend already. Maybe the top of descent is enough, but let's see. We'll do auto brake too. I'm actually, just because I want to be safe, I'm gonna have a look at the info. I'll already start doing the planning. Well, I guess it's not really safe, that's the common way of doing it. We have LNAV VNAV, right? We'll do category A, so 1000. Or actually, how does... Or I guess, yeah, I guess we're not category A, we're like category B or C. Maybe we can even be considered B. Climb gradient. Let me see if we can get this info. So 737-900 MA. I guess you need to calculate the climb gradient. But okay, let's just go with one of these. I guess we can do 10.
Icelandair 4003
85 at
descend to
least.
cross Pexel at or above flight level 110, then descend via the Pexi 1 November arrival with the Pexel transition to cross AKI at or above 6,600 feet. QNH is 1022 at Aquary Airport.
Will cross Pexel at or above flight level 110, then descend via the PEXI 1 November arrival with the Pexel transition to cross Aki at or above 6,600 feet. QNH
6,600 feet. Let's put that so we are ready. Again, this one was 10. 1.85. So let's put that in. They're looking pretty good. I really like the PBR, how they've done it on the PMDG. Let me just see if we can find another viewpoint. I need to have a look at how you can fix those weird moves. So you can see it a bit here. It's there is PBR, but they haven't made it overly glossy. They have just kind of perfectly, just kind of gotten the perfect touch on it. And let's see, what viewpoint should we have for our... I like the one with the engines. Let's maybe do this one. Something like this. I'll do the left one instead. Okay, so we have the barrow set. And then... let me see, because you use barrow, right? It's only category 2 and category 3 approaches use radio altimeter. Barrow, we are not authorized below 15 degrees Celsius. I don't think we're in risk of that being the case. Let me bring forth the weather info we had. Nope, it's not minus 15. So we are good to go. Well, maybe we can check the updated one since I was away for a while. It kind of changed, right? 12. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Nothing crazy. Clouds, yeah, it's the same we had on the... Well, it said 5,000 feet, so... A bit of a difference, I guess, but nothing too bad. Do we have anything else to help for our approach? Don't think so. We should be good to go. We are descending already. And we don't have a lot of flying left to do. It's less than 10 minutes. So what we'll do is put on the seatbelt signs. Let me see. So before the final approach fix, that's when you press the approach button, right? That's how you get the flight director, so you can use them for the landing. Okay, that makes sense. Sucks though that we're not seeing anything here on the ground. It's very beautiful island. Iceland. Iceland is very beautiful. Sorry about that, guys. Butchering that. Let's change to landing actually. Because I just want to make sure we can actually land. That would be a bit awkward otherwise. We're landing on runway 19. Should be dry. Let's check again. It wasn't too crazy weather. 1.8 at 3. So 1. Outside temperature of 12 Celsius. QNH of 1022. We'll go flaps full, air condition on. Actually, one thing we totally forgot to do was the anti-ice at 20,000, but I haven't really noticed anything, so I guess we're fine. But yeah, that's a bit of a miss on my end. I'll blame it on the fact that I was away, so I totally forgot about that. Anti-ice we have off. 149. Okay, looks pretty good. It's saying that we should add drag, but I think we should be fine. But I mean, technically, if we're gonna follow the approach, right, we need to add drag so we get on the right speed. So I guess technically I don't have an option. And we need to get below 250, right? So we're starting to get into the clouds again. And we're soon at 10,000, so we can give the landing lights or push them to on. We're still slowing down.
Icelandair 4003 contact Akureyri Tower approach on 118.2.
Approach on 118.2
More drag is
Icelandair
required.
4003.
Let's see if we get the tower handover since we've had issues with that.
Approach Icelandair 4003 descending
I
bay
want
of
to
the
do more
PXI-1N arrival
drag.
with Pexel transition to
Very interesting.
6,600 feet.
Well, let's go back to the document.
Icelandair 4003, good afternoon. Continue to send via the PXI 1 November arrival with the Pexel transition.
Continue to send via the PEXI
Transition at 7,000.
transition Icelandair
So 7,000, that was the transition. And we had 1022. So let's put that so it's ready at 1022. FNC speed achieved. That's good. We're starting to get down now. Hopefully this should all go jolly, but let's see. I think we can actually slowly start removing the speed brake so we can decrease our fuel consumption. Okay, let's see. Throttles are coming back. There we go. I think they'll go to idle now since we don't have the speed brakes deployed anymore. Okay. Looking good otherwise. We're coming in for the landing. Let's communicate with our dear passengers. Make sure we have the seatbelt sign on. Yes, it is on.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit, this is your first officer to get our descent and on the ground.
So the airport is to our left here. We can't really see it. I do wonder how the mesh is gonna be like, but let's see once we get closer. We're gonna change to terrain on this one, and then we'll use weather radar on that one. I feel like that will give us more useful info on this one. So you can see we have some high terrain surrounding the, you can see here 5,000. What does it say how high? 3,000, 4,000, some of the peaks here. Yeah, this is for the waypoints, right? It's probably quite high terrain. Okay, to not forget that, we'll also put on our runway turn of lights.
4003, you are 3 nautical miles
Still looking good. It's such a beautiful aircraft, the PMDG B737. I really like it. And this livery is, I really like the winglets, or the, what are they called? Scarlets maybe?
QNH is 102
Scarlets.
cleared direct
No,
Aki, then
that's
cleared for the RNAVX
that can't be it, right?
runway 19er with the Aki transition at Akureyri Airport, Icelandair
It's let me see, winglets, sharklets, scimitars, scarlets. God, that's my own makeup way of saying that. Okay, let's put standard, so we get to 1022. We have been cleared for the direct approach, so that's good. We just have to do this turn, and then it should all be fine and dandy. And we should sooner rather than later start getting below. So I'm gonna start decreasing this to our approach altitude of 250. Thank God I decided to check this. Would have forgotten it otherwise. Let me see what this one says in that regard. Is it higher? 260 here? Yeah, because this is older, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, it wants us to add drag again. So I'm gonna add a bit of drag. Let's change the viewpoint. And now we're starting to see the ground. And this is all own ortho that's been or own photo reel that's been made. That looks very nice, the photo reel. And here we're starting to see, and this is only zoom level 14, right? So keep that in mind. It's not the crispiest. I think I did 14. Okay, let's see. And we are above the ground. Very close though to the ground here. I didn't think we were gonna come in this close. Approach VREF not selected. Yeah, that's a bit of a fail. But let's get that selected. This one is off, which is fine. I guess it's the same as for takeoff. You want to be able to see if there's something wrong. 2500. Lights are set. We're still using the... let's actually arm the speed brake. And let's see if it's enough that we're just throttling down. And that will give us enough, or the plane itself will give us enough drag. The runway is gonna be there. You can see some boats here. Generally very nice kind of landscape. It's very beautiful. I really need to check if there's more Icelandic airports I can get, but I don't think there's that many. It's not like Norway where they have a lot of them. It's not a big country, right? It's not small, but it's not big either. Let's put that to norm. Still descending. We can soon go to the approach. Okay, let's see. We'll go after this next one. I'll go flaps 1. That should help a bit. Slowing us down.
Icelandair 400
There you can go flaps 2.
is 1022, an Akureyri airport call. When established
Hell, even flaps 5 might be possible.
1022 Icelandair 4003.
Let's go to the lowest range. We're almost at the final one, so I'm gonna go on approach. So we have the FAC and the GP here. Let's see if it's able to accomplish this. We can put down the landing gear and go to flaps 10. Looking good. We're gonna go off with the auto throttle. Gonna go to flaps 15. And we are also gonna go on flaps 25. Flaps 30. And let me just have a look, because we're coming in a bit. Is this actually an offset approach? That didn't look like it. Potentially this is a bit in the wrong direction, but I doubt that. Let's go flaps full. We'll add a bit of thrust. I'll take manual control of this. Now we can use these. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's add a bit of thrust here actually, so we don't get into any troubles in that regard. We can trim out a bit. It's a very beautiful approach, this one actually. I have no clue why I haven't done this flight before. It's looking very nice. Minimums continue. It's fine. We're a bit below, so we can increase the speed to. Okay, now we have that armed,
Icelandair
so everything should be set
400
correctly.
winds are 192 at 3 knots. Cleared to land runway 19er.
Still descending a bit fast. Let's add a bit more thrust. Okay, now we're starting to get a bit high. Not the easiest one. Okay, let's see. And we're getting a bit of wind. Nothing crazy. But let's see. We might have to crab a bit to the right. 300. $200. Come on. Let's trim a bit. We're a bit low on speed. Okay, crab to the left maybe. Oh. Let's see if we can get this bird down. There we go. Okay, thrust reversers full. That was a bit hard to judge. Felt like we were going a bit everywhere all at once. But there we go. It's stopping. Look at those thrust reversers. We can disconnect them. Let me just change the viewpoint to the one outside. Yeah, we have too many different. Okay, so we want to get there. Yeah, there was no way we're gonna stop in time. Let me remove some of these viewpoints that we have. Let's go off on those. This is actually a very big travesty that I've never flown to this airport before, because this is a beautiful approach to make. And with the ortho it just looks amazing. And actually it was pretty good to have the volumetric clouds, because it did work quite well. There wasn't too many abrupt changes, right, where you're like feeling totally out of the immersion. It's actually one of the reasons why I haven't, maybe I said that during the X-Plane video, but why I haven't gone with the active sky for X-Plane, just because you get the same kind of issue. Which is a bit immersion breaking. I'd rather take a bit less good weather without that. Such as the 2D clouds. Okay, let's see. So we are now taxiing. And we did it. And this is actually, I think, only my second flight ever with the 900 model. I rarely fly it. Funny how it is with a fictional operator, right? Icelandair never operated the 900. Looks very good actually, this, apart from that house that's flying a bit. Considering that, okay, this might not be my own ortho, I'm not sure now actually. Those look a bit weird, but yeah, that's a good question. Oh, look at those planes though. How come that they aren't showing? I might have to remove them. That's really odd. I've had that happen as well with the Yellowstone one. It's like it's missing one of those main ones. And we got landing clearance as well, so that's nice to see.
Icelandair 4003, there is no ground control at this airport. Let us know if you need taxi instructions.
I think we can hopefully park here somewhat nicely. But let's see if that's doable. Pretty good. We wanna get something like that, right? There we go. So yeah, a bit of a bummer with these aircrafts not showcasing appropriately and that hill looking a bit weird. I do have all of Iceland in photoreal. But as you can see, it looks maybe a bit different. Maybe it's just a difference, right? Maybe this is part of the scenery and that's why it looks pretty damn good. One thing we never did was put on the APU. Rookie mistake, I know. But yeah, very nice approach. Let's flip the seatbelt signs off. How's the APU doing? It's starting, so that's good. We can shut most of the lights technically, right? Not gonna do anything apart from destroying maybe the replay a bit. In terms of the outside, the 737 is one of the best looking ones. I'm trying to think which other ones are really good at the exterior. The FS Labs one is majestic as well. Look at this, the water is flowing with the mesh. That's so interesting. Guess that's been an issue since the FSX days. Okay, now we have the APU running and we can shut off both engines. Now we should have had that built-in stairs. Not sure this is how you park, I assume so. We're a bit of a bigger aircraft than I think this airport normally serves. I'm gonna guess it's the Dash 8s that fly here normally. But I just didn't feel like doing a turboprop. The only problem I have, I guess, in that regard is that the only really good one I have is the Dash 8. And the Majestic, and I guess that's the best one you can have, right? Even in X-Plane I don't really have any better one. I guess I have the King Air, but that feels a bit more or less like a charter. But like in terms of the airlines, I wish there was a bit more alternatives. The Fokker 27 is pretty okay, and the ATR by Coronado. And then of course they have the Fokker 50 and Saab. But yeah, not the best. I'm wondering if X-Plane has any. Let me have a look. Well, I have the Jetstream, but it's also not the best. I'm hoping an ATR will be released for X-Plane, but let's see. One can always hope. Let's open a door, I think that's the only thing this one is waiting for, right? Or anything else. Let me check if it got the memo with the seatbelt signs. It did not get the memo. There we go. 262. Pretty good landing, I would say. I have done better, but this is okay. Let's close that one and let's just have a quick look at the replay before we wrap up today's video. Let's do 3. Yeah, we need to go a bit further back. I think 4 might be enough. No, not even 4 was enough. Let's do 500. Then we can see a bit of the approach. Looks pretty good though. Yeah, maybe it's only that low mountain, looked a bit weird. Yeah, very nice. This I think this is part of the airport scenery, aka MK Studios. This look a bit more fine than what my orthos usually do. And look, I love these kind of airports that go a bit into the water. That's always super cool. And look at the reflections here, right? Yeah, pretty dope for this old old game. But yeah, approach was pretty nice actually. I really liked the approach, and the landing was. Let's have a look. Yeah, I crabbed a bit too much to the left, and then yeah, that was a bit of a hairy landing. Should have stuck with my original plan of crabbing to the right. But it was okay. It's hard to judge the replays, right? Because it's not really showing how it would look. I mean, like, you can see none of the surfaces. You can't really see how the gears really touch the ground. But yeah. Overall, good enough. Landing could have been better, but I'm overall content. Hopefully you enjoyed this video as well. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And otherwise, until next time. Bye bye.